Good evening. I want to first thank Father Stephen for giving me this opportunity to reflect on today's readings. After reading the Gospel, it was funny to me, being a chef for over 30 years, that the Gospel I'm to preach on today is about food preparation. So without any further hesitation, let me jump into today's Gospel part when Andrew concluded that there was not enough food to go around to feed the crowd. You could feel the desperation in his voice. This reminds me of a situation when I was in school at the Culinary Institute of America. There was this chef who's our teacher, who was known to be the hardest chef in all of CIA. Fear would come to the students after taking his class, mainly because he was very demanding and one would have to be on the top of their game every day. Our class was unusual because we had the smallest class allowed to be in a group. Normally, your class consists of 18 to 20 students. Ours was 11. Each person had a station, and usually they had a partner. But being 11, that paired up into 10, someone was the odd man out. And you guessed it, that person was me. But my job was to do family meal. Now, family meal usually is for the students and the chef, but not here. It was the students, the chef, and about 50 other people. So the first day, I had to cook for about 60 to 70 people. And I'm like, okay. So the chef comes in to check on you. And in desperation, he says, "What are you going to do? We have all these people out here. What are you going to prepare?" And I said, relax. It's all here. It's in the ovens. He goes, "Where?" So he storms out because he couldn't see it. Now, I believe Father Stephen likes to point out at least two main points in his homilies. So my 2 points are faith and trust. So I'll go back to the CIA story. Like Andrew, the chef is nervous because he sees things that are insurmountable. Maybe because he doesn't know that person, well, that's true. And maybe because he has seen others succumb because of lack of faith. Like a coffee pot, the situation just kept brewing. You could see him through the glass windows in back of the dining room, pacing back and forth like an expectant father. So when the time came out to put out the meal, I put out this big, huge banquet. And there was ribs, chicken, fish, there was potatoes, rice. I even think I made succotash. And upon seeing it, he came in and his mouth was agape open. With jubilance, he comes and says, "You, sit here. I want you to sit at the chef table," which was an honor. "I want to know all about you, your history, your heritage, everything," because he just couldn't believe it. But it even gets more to that faith and trust, because the next day, we had to cook 7 to 10 days straight through in the kitchen. There was this student who was supposed to make soufflés. Well, soufflés are the hardest thing to make because you not only have to whip them for the right consistency, when you put them in the oven to bake, you can't walk around, you can't slam the oven or they'll drop. So The student failed miserably, and his dropped all the time. So now the teacher, believing that he can trust someone else and have faith in another, he calls my name, Burkhardt, you're on soufflés now. So I not only had to do the soufflés and cook for 50, 60 people. So like Andrew, the chef is in charge ultimately to provide the food for many people, but he only had a small amount of workers to provide it. Well, how many times in your life have you found insurmountable situations and needed to trust and have faith in another? I know recently, during the COVID pandemic, we had to trust and keep our faith, not only in the medical and technical fields, but our faith and trust in God, that He will provide comfort and mercy in our times of distress. For me, not yet a deacon, there are limited jobs that I can do, but the one job I always smiled about is this: carrying the cross. I know you can laugh at an older man acting like an older boy, but I see it. Without this cross, we do not have our faith. This cross is our faith. And like the flag bearer who leads the men as a symbol of honor for a leading cause, for us is our trust in God, especially during COVID times, and our faith in that Jesus' death on the cross is our salvation. We, with Jesus, can overcome all that is insurmountable. Amen.